Too soon? Hey FlossTube, my name is Deborah and welcome to my channel Stitch the Stash. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and if you're a new viewer, I hope you enjoy what you see. My channel is all about cross stitch, and maybe eventually it will include some knitting, but right now it's all about cross stitch. Today is Saturday, November 24th. It is 2 days past Thanksgiving here in the US. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. However they spent it, with family, with loved ones, sitting on the couch watching Christmas movies. I hope you all enjoyed it. As for me and my husband, it was very low-key this year because I'm sick. You can probably hear it in my voice. I woke up on Tuesday with a sore throat, and now it's developed into a cough, so I may have to take some breaks for coughing or drinking some water. I'm hoping it's kept to a minimum, but we shall see. I didn't want to put off recording for another week. So first of all, I had to pull this guy out, my Mr. Grinch. I found him in Hobby Lobby back on early October when I went to New Jersey with Carmen, the Broadway stitcher, and Caitlin, the Big Apple stitching, here on FlossTube. And this guy was, I think, 40% off. And I thought, well, we haven't hit Halloween yet, but I want him. So I got him. And I'm currently drinking the 911 Cold David's tea. Love this stuff. Hopefully it will help. So, okay, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I accidentally hit the camera. So let's go ahead and get started. I wanted to start off with questions and kind of show and tell combined. I received a question from, I believe, Evelyn on my last video, and she had asked me about all of my cross-stitch stuff from all the earlier years of my cross-stitching, because I had said that I started cross-stitching when I was about 9-10 years old and cross-stitched off and on into my mid-20s, about 25, 26 years old. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about that. I have to show it to you today, the very first piece of cross-stitch that I ever stitched for myself. The story behind learning how to cross-stitch, I remember my mother and my sisters were picking up cross-stitch and I wanted to learn, and I believe I had asked to be taught, and I could be wrong. My mother watches this, so if I'm wrong, Mom, please correct me. But I think I was asking you if I could learn how to cross-stitch, and you said, no, not yet. And my oldest sister, Teresa, secretly taught me. And if my memory serves it correct, I stitched a piece for my mother as a surprise. This is what I'm kind of remembering. And that was a shock to her when she realized I learned how to cross stitch. So my sister Teresa, thank you very much for teaching me. And I want to go ahead and show you the very first piece. Now, I just recently reframed this. I took it out of the original frame, and when I did that, I wanted to wash it and put it into a smaller frame. But when I took it out of the original frame, I realized that the original framing, the piece was put on a piece of pillow foam adhesive backing. And when I took the piece off, the pillow portion stuck to the fabric. Now, I don't know who framed this. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was we did it in the family or we took it somewhere. But obviously, what it was attached to was not acid-free, and you'll be able to see that in my piece. So here it is. Well, you're not going to be able to tell too much about it being discolored because I'm in front of the big window today, and it's being a little washed out. But this is the very first piece I stitched for myself, and it is on a cream Aida. And the acid backing that it was attached to has made it very, 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 yeah, very yellow and discolored. And now the white stitches that you see, this is actually white. You can see a little bit of discoloration in it. And there's a little bit of a stain right there. I originally wanted to take it off and wash it and press it, but that wasn't possible because I was afraid what was still attached to the back of this piece would just ruin it. And ironing it was also out of the question because when I took an iron to it in the upper corner the other day when I went to reframe this, it smelled like rubber. So I just stretched it the best I could on the mat board with, I do have a piece of quilting batting behind this. And you can see there's a little bit of crease right here just because I wasn't able to iron it. But I love it. I don't know the pattern. I call this Donald Duck with crayons. And as you can see, I have my initials down here, but I didn't date it. And it was the early 80s. And I have to say for being 9-10 years old, I think my stitches are pretty good. Now, the back stitching, I held with 2 threads. Because I remember at that age, I didn't like the look of one single thread. And I thought it was too faint, so I held it double. Excuse me, get some water. So all my back stitching in this piece is held with double. Yeah, I love it. I'm very, very thankful to have it. So, where are the rest of the pieces that I had cross-stitched in my earlier years? Well, I don't have them. I remember throughout the years cross-stitching bookmarks. You remember the glass coasters that you could cross-stitch a piece and put it in there? I remember doing those. I remember doing like hand towels for holidays. I know that when I was previously married, I had cross-stitched 2 pieces, and when we separated, divorced, those pieces went with my ex-husband. So I have no other finished cross-stitch pieces of my own. I know I cross-stitched a lot for gifts growing up. I just don't have them. So that is the answer to where are all my pieces from my earlier years. I simply do not have them. I just have this very first piece that I ever made for myself. And it's okay. It's all right. I know I had a piece that I had started, but I don't have that piece. And I actually have some of the books. I have books from when I was cross-stitching in my early 20s. And this pattern, Yesterday's Dream by Leisure Arts, this is a Paula Vaughn quilt. And I remember that this piece, I learned how to cross-stitch on even weave. And I know that I had probably finished like this much, this quarter, about a quarter of it. And I know through my many moves throughout, I've moved like 4 or 5 times since I was 25 years old. I don't have the piece. I have the pattern, but I don't have the cross-stitch piece, which is a shame because I would have definitely finished it. So that is something that I was cross-stitching in my early 20s. And I know I had mentioned that I had stitched 2 pieces for my ex-husband when we were married at the time. And I know I cross-stitched this Dalmatian. I remember it very, very, very vividly. I cross-stitched it on blue, and I just did the Dalmatian head. I didn't do this little part right here. And I remember it was framed in an oval frame. And because when I met him, he had a Dalmatian, and we had Dalmatian puppies, and we had dogs. And so he took this finished piece. I do not have the other the pattern for the other piece I had stitched. It was a sailboat. My ex-husband had a passion for sailing, and I had cross-stitched that. And I don't have that pattern. But that's something else that he hopefully still has in his possessions. So I thought it'd be fun to show you some other patterns that I know that I cross-stitched. Again, 80s. We're in the 80s, early 90s. I had cross-stitched this bathroom piece right here. Where is it? I don't know. I don't know if this is something that I cross-stitched for my sister and she hung it in her bathroom. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me, Mary Beth, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are. I don't know, but I don't have it. And I know I did this one because, sorry, my video is jumping out on me. Let me pause it and restart. Okay, so like I was saying, is I know that I cross-stitched this piece because when I look at the pattern, I highlighted in yellow the center stitches, so I knew where the center was because I was a center starter back then, and I still am on certain pieces. So either this was in my sister's bathroom, maybe it landed in my bathroom, but I don't have it. My ex-husband could probably have it hanging in his bathroom. Who knows? I'm not sure. Okay, so I also know The Qualified Professionals. It's a book of koalas doing all kinds of different jobs. And I tried to remember which pattern I stitched out of this book. And I'm pretty sure it was The Mechanic. Because this copyright book on this book is the mid-80s. And I would have been in high school. And I know the young boy that I was dating at the time, he was a mechanic. Especially, you know, he was a year ahead of me. And we had this thing in high school that when you hit junior and senior year, you could participate in this program where you would go to school half a day and then you would go to work and get credit. And I participated in that in my senior year. So, and I know he did too. So I probably cross-stitched this koala mechanic. So that is another piece. That was a gift that I don't have. All right. And the last trip down memory lane book I have are these dreamsicles. I know for a fact, again, I know I started this, and it was probably this one. And I want to say I started this probably after I had already moved to New York. I don't have, and I know I stitched them on Ada, but I don't have the partial project. I don't know what happened to it, but I have the pattern. So it remains a mystery. Don't know. But I thought, you know, I'd share what I used to work on way back when. So I wish I had more to show of my own finished pieces, but I don't. And that's okay. So what do I have for you today? Sip of tea. We're going to have FO. We're going to have whips. We're going to have new starts. And I have haul. And then plans. So let's go ahead and let me show you my FO. It is Busy as a Bee by Tiny Modernist. So glad this is done. I went to Needleworkers Delight with Carmen, the Broadway stitcher, and our new friend Liz, who is a cross stitcher, but she's also a knitter, and she actually is the leader of our Stitch Along team. So the three of us went to Needleworkers Delight for a meetup, and this is the piece that I brought with me. And I love it. So let's see what it looks like. go. Oh, love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. The fabric is 32 count Lagana, Summer Sky by Witchelt. And I started it for Stitch Mania on May 11th, and I finished it on November 22nd. Oh, I love it. It was a lot of fun. The back stitching, didn't take me as long as I thought it would, and it really, really, really brings it all together. And this will most likely be a gift. I'm big into gifting things. I do this with my knitting, and I do it with my sewing, and apparently when I was younger I did it with all my cross stitching. So I'm going to look for a frame for it, and if I don't gift it, I'll be keeping it, and it will be the beginning of my bee wall, my bee inception. So let's a little bit of a close-up. I love it. And this makes finish number 4 for me for this year. If you watched my whip parade, I showed I had 22 whips, and the Wizard of Oz series and the Little Sheep Virtues series, each pattern, I'm considering that to be a finish, even though I'm stitching them all together. So I have my Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, Brooks Books Publishing Wizard of Oz. I have Hope, Little Sheep Virtue by Little House Needleworks. And I have a third finish, which I haven't shown, which is definitely a gift. I have to get it framed, and once I get it all framed, I'll record it, and then when the recipient receives it, I will then share it with you. And then, Tiny Monitors, busy as a bee. Okay, so now it's time for whips. I have 3 whips to share with you today, and the first one is Fall into Winter by Ship's Manor. And you guys know that I absolutely love this pattern. I have enjoyed stitching on it every single time I pick it up, and it needs to get more love, that's for sure. I did show my progress on it in the whip parade on Monday, but I have put more stitches into it. And so let's go ahead and see what it looks like now. The fabric is a 32 count Belfast linen dyed by Ship's Manor, and it's called Mummy's Wraps, and this is where I'm at. Yeah. On Monday, I had the one snowflake done, I had this vine done, and then I had this snowflake almost complete. So I've finished this snowflake, and I've added in these little tiny ones, and I started the vine at the top, and I was in the middle of this snowflake before I was recording, and I haven't finished it. But, isn't it so pretty? I am loving these threads. I cannot recommend them enough. The variegation in them is amazing. The quality is amazing. If you have the opportunity to order some of Ship's Manor's threads, I highly recommend it. You won't be disappointed. And this needle minder is a little snowflake that I had ordered from Gina's Unique Boutique, and I thought it was perfect to use while I'm stitching on this piece. So I'm hoping to get more progress done on this one this weekend before we all go back to work on Monday. Love it. Yes. Okay. My next whip is Fa La La by Country Cottage Needleworks. And I showed this also in my whip parade. I've showed everything in my whip parade. What am I talking about? I showed this to you on Monday, and it inspired me so much to work on it. I picked it up this week to put a few more stitches in it because I would love to get it done. So I might insert a picture of what it looked like prior to this. And if I do, it'll be right there. But if not, this is where I'm at. Oh, my hat keeps falling in my eyes. Sorry, guys. The fabric is 32 count Lugana gingerbread by Picture This Plus. And when I showed it to you on Monday, I didn't have any of the white in. And I only had the green and part of the green on this portion of the tree done. So I've added all in the white snowflakes, the white in the border, and I've put in the first little red stitches in the tree. And I have to tell you, adding the white really motivated me to stitch on this more. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm hoping to get it done before the end of this year. I can do it. There's not much left. I just need to focus on it, right? That's what I think is the key, is focusing. All right, so my last, let's see. Oh, my stiachalong. It's in the other room. I showed it to you on Monday, and I've put in probably 10 more stitches on it, and it's in the other room, and I don't want to go get it and disturb the little one that's sleeping in there. So, because, you see, she's not there. She's in the small bedroom, so that's why I'm filming in the living room today. Because, she'll probably be in my tea if she was out here. So I'm not going to go get it, but I will show it to you next time on my next update, where I will have a lot more progress on it. Like I said, I've been sick this week, and everything that I wanted to do this week kind of went out the door, and I've been doing knitting and minimal stitching. Okay, so that is all of my whips. I have one new start, and that is Coming to Town Santa 11 by Lizzie Kate. This is a SAL that I'm participating in, and it's put on by Debbie and Kef of Snug Harbor Crafts. And I thought I would love to join everybody in stitching this, and the start date was yesterday. And my only rule for participating is I had to pull everything from stash, my fabric and my threads. And in order to do that, I am stitching this all in DMC. There is no fancy floss that I'm using in this one. And let me show you where I am. My little tiny start, I have Santa's suit done and a majority of his sleigh. However, there is a mistake right there. So I just need to rip out these top stitches because these ones need to be over by one more stitch. But other than that, I'm really pleased with my progress on it. And the fabric is 18 count Ada by Picture This Plus, and the color is Cherub. And let's see, it's a pale pink with maybe some mauve-y undertones to it. I thought it would be perfectly different, and I didn't want to use the brown, and I just, again, I thought it would look really pretty on it. We'll see when it's done. But I wanted to stitch from stash, and this was the fabric that I had that I thought would look best. So, yeah. I hope to get some more work on this done this weekend too. I definitely want to pick out that little mistake and put it back in. But other than that, it's stitching up really, really fast. Okay, so that is all of my stitching for this week. Now, let's go ahead and move on to haul or stash enhancement, which is what I like to call it. So let me get everything together and I'll be right back. Okay, so now let's move on to what I've purchased. Back on October 6th, you already know that I went to Needleworks Delight, and I've already shown you the patterns that I purchased at that time, but I also had them dye up 2 pieces of fabric for me, and when we went back to Needleworks Delight on the 17th, I picked them up. So let me go ahead and show them to you now. They are both Acacia Linen 28 count, and the first one is called Cosmic Blast. Very, very, very pretty. It's very overcast today, so it's going to rain this afternoon, and the lighting is not that great because, you know, we're moving into winter. So, but this is actually much more rich than what you're seeing. It's burgundies, rust, some little purple in it. It's really rich. Some browns, oranges. It's really, really pretty. It's close, but yeah. So now the next piece that I purchased is called Cinnamon Roll. And it's much richer and deeper brown than what you're seeing here. And there's a little touch of reds or burgundies in it. And I absolutely love it. I had originally purchased these 2 fabrics to potentially put Nora Corbett's geranium pattern on it, and I wasn't sure which one I really wanted to go with. While I was in the store, I had used the viewer.com and put the pattern on both of these fabrics, and I fell in love with this one on the viewer. So I think this is the one I'm going to go with, and that will be a 2019 start. So those are the 2 fabrics. I had them dye for me from my October 6th visit. So now, what did I purchase this time? I purchased a few more fabrics, and 3 of them were offcuts to smaller pieces that they had that I purchased. And then I purchased 1 big 20 by 32 piece. It is a Belfast linen 32 count, and it is called Parisian Taupe. And I just thought this was a perfect neutral. And it's a little bit more brown than this, but I thought it was just a perfect neutral that I could put a lot of my patterns on. I'm thinking maybe the Croquet Collection Autumn might go on this. Not sure yet, but I have a big, huge piece, so I have a lot to choose from. Then I purchased, it is another 32 count Belfast linen in Meadow Mist, and it's just a little piece. And it's actually a little bit more green than what's showing here. It's really hard to see in this light, but it's a very, very pale minty green, which I think will be perfect for maybe some Christmas ornaments. I also purchased just a 32 count Lagana. It's called in the color Rustic Blue, and it's just another small piece. Yep, pretty accurate. Again, I was thinking winter, Christmas, ornaments. So I got that, and then the final piece is a Lugana 32 count opalescent white, and it's just another little teeny tiny piece. I don't know if you can see the sparkles, but I thought it would be perfect for Christmas ornaments. Carmen had purchased a piece of this because she was stitching the most adorable Grinch ornament to go on this, and when I found a small offcut. I was like, yes, please. Okay, so those are the fabrics. Now, remember I had told you in my last update video that when I was at Needleworks Delight in October, I left something behind that I knew I wanted to purchase if it was still there this time. And that is small cat. It's punch needle. And it is, I think it's the cutest little thing. Funny story. I don't punch needle. Nope. And when I picked this up, I went back to the table that we were stitching at, and I met a lovely young lady there, and she saw me with this, and she said, do you punch needle? And I said, no. And I do not have a desire to punch needle because I do not need another hobby, another craft. I already have too many that I don't have enough time in my life right now to work on them all. I scrapbook, I quilt, I sew, I cross stitch, and I knit. I do not need to punch needle. Now, I'm hoping that maybe I can find someone who will do this for me in exchange for maybe a crafty bag or something that I sew. But until then, I'm going to just put it in my stash. And it comes with the fabric and the threads to do it. So we'll see. I love it. I had to have it. And it was still there. And so I couldn't leave it behind. Now let's move on to the cross stitch patterns that I purchased this time. And what was fantastic is that everything was 25% off on the 17th. So I had a gift card with me and I used that. And what I paid for out of pocket, I'm very happy with. So first pattern I picked up. And a lot of these I have viewed online and I haven't purchased. And because I was there, the store had them. And I want to support our local needleworker shop. So I went ahead and purchased it through Needleworks Delight. The first pattern is called Oh Tannenbaum with a needle and thread. I love this. I do not know if I will stitch the pieces and put them in a tray like this. I'm not sure. I think they would look really cute stitched individually. I love the sheep pulling the sled. Yep, so we got that one. Then I purchased Lizzie Kate's Spirit of Christmas, which originally was a 3-part mystery sampler. And I purchased all 3 parts, but this is what it looks like. I love this. Of course I love it. If I didn't love it, it wouldn't have come home with me, right? Can you tell that I'm ready for Christmas? I didn't purchase the embellishment pack, all the buttons to go with it. I'm not sure. I may go back and get them, but I'm not starting it this year. But I love it. So I have all 3 parts. Okay. Then I purchased, it's called A Beautiful Dream, and it's an Italian designer, and I'm not getting ready to pronounce their name, but oh, this had to come home with me. I just love everything about this. The little family, the ice rink. I'm assuming that's an ice rink. It looks like an ice rink. Maybe not, but the deer, it comes with this little button. There's Santa. Do not know if I'll stitch it on this fabric, but I love, love, love this design. So I had looked at it, put it back, looked at it, put it back, and then I said, yeah, you need to come home with me. So I did. And the final pattern I purchased is by the Drawn Thread, and it's called Welcome Christmas. I love their patterns. Let me fix the camera. Yeah, I'm ready for Christmas. My favorite holiday of the year. Ever since I was a child, I have very fond memories of Christmases growing up. So, yep. Then, I purchased, I wanted to convert some Krennics to Petite Treasure braids, so I did that. And I was looking at some threads that kind of put me in the holiday mood. Oh, pumpkin pie, Buckeye Scarlet, and German chocolate. And these are Gentle Arts, and this is Crescent Colors. Yep, love them. Oh, and there was something else when I was there on October 6th. By the register, they have all these pins and buttons. And I found something and I didn't get it. And, well, I got it this time. And these are by Poutini. Meow. Oh, they're so cute. Look at that little kitty. I love them. They'll go on a pincushion. So cute. There were quite a few to choose from, and it was very hard to come home with just one, but I did. Okay. So that is my haul from Needleworkers Delights, both visits. Then I had placed an order with Needle Case Goodies on Etsy, and all the stores that you can purchase from, I'll link down below. I had ordered a few patterns. A couple of them were back ordered, and I received them the other day. So now that I have my whole order, I thought I'd share them with you. The first one is by Hands On Design, and it is the Wreath House. Now, two of the patterns, the ones on the ends, you could get in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, but the Wreath House was separate. This pattern comes with all three. I love the colors. Probably will not stitch it on that fabric, but I got that. And then I purchased from With Thy Needle and Thread, Plum Pudding, the mice Christmas baking, holiday baking. Love it. I will probably brighten up the colors, but I love it. Then we have With Thy Needle and Thread, Snow for Christmas. There's that sheep again pulling the sled with the snowman, and Santa's riding the sheep. Super cute. Love it. Then again, from With Thy Needle and Thread, Winter in Baltimore. Now, I don't know if I'm going to stitch this, but I really, really like the pillow. And I'm looking at the gradation, the variegation. I probably will do the stitching circular instead of up and down. That's what it looks like. They did up and down. But I love it. I flip-flopped about this one many, many times. But when I saw it, I'm like, yep, want the pillow. Then the last pattern I purchased from Needle Case Goodies is, again, With Thy Needle and Thread. They came out with all their new holiday releases. So I purchased this one all bundled up. The cardinal on the snowman's hat. Yep. Super cute. I love it. Again, I love everything. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't brought it home. I wouldn't purchased it, right? So I need to stop saying I love it, but I do. Okay. Now I have 2 orders from 123 Stitch. And the first pattern is Lizzie Kate Birdie Holiday. It's adorable. Super adorable. I didn't buy the embellishment pack with all the buttons, but I might. And then I purchased the threads. However, oh, aren't they beautiful? Oh, yep. There's a couple threads that are in back order. Well, 1 thread. So I got the threads for that. And then I purchased from Cottage Garden Samplings Ho Ho Ho. Just a cute little Santa with his sack. Yes, I'm ready to stitch Christmas. Then I have 2 Heart and Hands. And these ones I also went back and forth a few times before I decided to purchase them. The first one is Joyful Journal December. I do not have all of these. I only have the certain ones that I like. I know I have the June one because it has bees in it. And I think I have the October one because it has a really cute black cat. But I just love Santa on this. Super cute. And then I purchased Christmas Magic. And I purchased this because it reminds me of Chevy Chase. National Lampoons. Yep. And I might change the color of the car. Cute. Now I purchased from another Cottage Garden Samplings pattern, and it's called Christmas Angel. Oh, isn't she? I love the hair. The colors, everything about this is just perfect to me. So it's all DMC with the exception of her dress and the Christmas tree. So I purchased the 2 colors, and I purchased the 28 count linen smoky pearl cashel. Yeah. I can't wait to get this started. Cannot wait. All right. So the last pattern that I purchased, excuse me, my pattern fell on the floor. I was, in and out of the cart on this one. In and out. I wasn't sure. Simply because it's huge. It's huge. The stitch count, do they have it? No. Oh, yes. The width is 169. The height is 402. And they stitched it on 40 count over 2. So I was like, well, I don't stitch on 40 count because it's too small for me. I've never tried, but I think it's too small. But I had to have it. And it is from, it's a Courtney collection, and it's called Garden Fair 28. Yeah. The flowers are beautiful. The colors are stunning. It's just 2 colors. They're both silks. One is Crescent Colors Belle Soie, and one is Au Vert à Soie, and it's just 103 silk. You need, to complete this whole pattern, you need a total of 3 of one color, 2 of the other. Don't know if I'm going to stitch it in silks. I also do not know if I'm going to stitch the whole entire piece. I could also just do the top portion and maybe a couple of the banners. I can break this up. I don't have to stitch it to be the huge piece that it's going to be. I don't know. I'll make that decision when I sit down to start it. But I love it. So that was all my purchases from 123 Stitch. Like I said, I'm ready for Christmas. There's all Christmas patterns. I have big December plans for stitching. Whether they come true or not, who knows? But I'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so you saw my snow needle minder on Fall into Winter from Gina's Unique Boutique. So I thought I would purchase a few more. And this super cute cupcake and the reindeer, the lights in his antlers, really cute. And then I purchased this little, oh, isn't he adorable? You could choose from 3 different ones, 3 different colors, the shoes, they different poses, and this is the one I went with. And then also I purchased the snowflake from Gina's Unique Boutique on Etsy. I'll link her below. I also had placed an order with That's So Kelly on Etsy, and I actually purchased 3 Bitsy Bobs. One is in the back room, which I'm not going to go get. I forgot it, but I thought I would go ahead and show the other 2 because I'm currently using them. First is this one, really pretty floral with butterflies. And if you've never seen the inside, this is just the standard Bitsy Bob. Little pouch to put your threads in. You can put your pattern in there if it's small enough. It snaps closed, and then you have this felt that holds onto your loose threads. And then down here in the corner, there's a magnet in there for your scissors to attach to. Really love these. Love, love, love. And the other one I got is the kitty cat. Whoops. Yes, magnet. Love it. So I'll link her shop down below too. Then I also purchased from Upton Stitches on Instagram. But I purchased this scissor fob from her Etsy shop, which is, I believe, called Clever Crafter. And I'll link everything down below. But if you follow her on Instagram, she posts scissor fobs on her Instagram account that you can purchase directly from there instead. A lot of vintage buttons, glass buttons, beautiful. I found this one on her Etsy shop. It's just green and orange, and actually the orange is a little bit more, it's deeper in person. But it reminded me of a vintage Christmas, 70s, 80s, and I love it. Okay, I'll link her shop down below. So that is all of my haul. And I've buried my notes. And yep, that's all my haul. So now let's move on to plans. What am I going to do? Well, first of all, I'm going to have a sip of tea. I'm going to continue with Fall into Winter. I know I've mentioned this a few times, that I wanted to have it done by the first day of winter, which is December 21st. But if that doesn't happen, which I don't think it will, it's okay. It will be done by the end of this winter. So I'm going to continue with that. I'm going to continue on with the 2 other whips that I showed you, Fa La La and Coming to Town. I would really like to finish the Fa La La ornament. I could have it done in a week if I just stitch on it here and there. So now this brings me to December plans. I'm going to share it with you now because I won't record again another update video until the second weekend in December. And December 1st is next Saturday. Can we believe it? Where has the time gone? I am planning on doing 25 days of Christmas stitching. Now, is it going to be strictly Christmas? It could be winter themed with Christmas in it. I'm not 100% sure. I created a calendar and put all my potential starts on it. I like to be very organized that way. Now, I know for sure on December 25th, I am starting Button Up by Prairie Schooler, the Prairie Schooler, because Helen D and Misty Pursel are doing the Button Up Sal for that pattern, which starts on Christmas Day. So that's going to be my big start and my finish. Now, I originally thought I was going to have a new start every day leading up to that big start, and then be ornaments, small starts. That's how my calendar is laid out, to have 25 starts, 24 of them being on the smaller side. Kind of like Stitch Mania, but for Christmas, the holidays, winter time. Then I thought, when I did my WIP parade, I showed Lantern Lane, and I started that at Stitch Mania, and it has not seen any love since May, since I started it. So then I was thinking for December, I could, all the odd days, have a new start. And then on the even days, work on Lantern Lane. I could do that. So I'd get more progress done on Lantern Lane. I might do that. But then I also thought, okay, well, I could work on, and so that would leave me with 13 new starts. A little bit more manageable. I did 11 for Stitch Mania. I was planning 18, only did 11. So I think I could handle 13 starts. And then this would set me up to work on these holiday, Christmas, winter patterns in the new year. And then I would have them ready for Christmas next year. I think that's what I'm kind of trying to set myself up for, is to have Christmas, winter, holiday completed cross-stitching. So I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be 25 brand new starts or 13 with Lantern Lane. Most likely that's what I'm going to do, because I would like to have more progress on the mansion. But it's going to be 25 days of Christmas stitching. And I believe that's the hashtag I'm going to use. I believe no one's used it on Instagram. So it can be followed, and you'll be able to see my progress every day. Because I think I'm going to try to take a picture every day of where I finish for the day. So that's my big, huge December stitching. I have been kitting up. I have been going through my fabric stash and my threads and making sure I have what I need to at least get started. I'm really excited. I said this already, Christmas is my most favorite holiday. And I had so much fun going through my patterns and picking out the ones that I want to stitch this year. I start this year, and I am super, super excited to start that. And it's amazing, again, because we'll be December 1st in 1 week. Yay! Okay, so that is all that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed watching. I want to thank everyone for liking, subscribing, commenting. I do read all your comments. I flag them with little hearts, and I reply to you. And if you have any questions, you can leave them there, or you can email me. All my contact information is listed below, including my Instagram account, which is Stitch the Stash. You can follow me there. And if you were new and you got all the way through this video, thank you very much. I hope you consider subscribing and coming back for my next video. And with that, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful stitchy week, and I will see you in December. Happy stitching!